Hello.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to another Blether. How are you today, Catherine?
I am all right. You know, actually, I'm knackered. And I think it's just the weather. I actually feel totally knackered. And you know, like Eeyore out of Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, yeah.
I just feel like I'm channeling Eeyore this week. But we saw sunshine today.
Does your tail keep falling off?
It does. Have you got a ghost in your house? Because that door behind you is just open by itself.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
Oh my god!
We've adopted a really, really small person.
I mean, is Tony actually just on her hands and knees round about you?
Yeah, pretty much. She doesn't want to be on. Yeah, she's making cocktails.
With a screwdriver?
No,
what?
That is a cocktail, the screwdriver.
Oh, I thought she said I'm looking for a screwdriver. No, I'm making a screwdriver. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, she is looking for a screwdriver. I mean, it's gone. The moment is completely gone over your head.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I kind of know Tony, so I kind of know that if anybody's going to be looking for a screwdriver to do something practical, it's probably going to be Tony and not you, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Actually, in this scenario, I would have thought you'd be making cocktails and she would have been just generally just doing DIY. So
some DIY.
You can see my confusion there.
That's how this household works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're Eeyore tonight. Hope you're not going to be grumpy all night.
I am very rarely grumpy. It takes a lot, a serious lot, to make me grumpy. So no, very rarely grumpy.
25 days of no sunshine.
Well, yes, that does. Oh, I know. Why are we in the news for the most rubbish things? Aberdeenshire, most snowfall in a week. Aberdeenshire, lack of sunlight for the most length of time before records began. Can we not just have Aberdeenshire? Everyone wins £1 million. Can we not just have some good news?
If that's the news tomorrow, then somebody's wishes come true.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, how are you?
I'm good. Yes, I was actually DIYing. I was putting up shelves in the shop. We're getting the packing area and office kind of sorted out at the new gaff ready for Tony coming back at the end of next month-ish from maternity. So try to get her office all up and running. So yeah, I had the screwdrivers out today in a practical sense rather than the drinking sense.
Not a cocktail.
What else did I do today? Oh, we've got cocktails tasting tomorrow night at the shop where we've got 15 guys booked in for a shake it and make it evening where they're going to be making up some of their own cocktails. So I was off getting stock for that. And that's about it. That's been my day.
Sounds not too bad for a midweek.
Yeah. Earned a dram.
Yes, they all have.
But good evening to everyone on the chat. The Blether is kicked off already. We've got Tim, we've got Jeremy, who's first in tonight. Good evening, Jeremy. He's watching from Norway. I assume you're in Norway. You haven't said that you're not. Dutch Jura. We've got Tim Powells. We've got Callum in. He's saying good evening. Dave Fackerson has signed into the right link this time. He's not portrait. He is landscape. We've got Dominic is in. Good evening, Dominic. Good evening, Rick. He's in sharp tonight. Good evening to you. Looking forward to seeing you next month. It's going to be a blast. Who else is in? I think that's everyone who's commented, but good evening to everyone who hasn't yet commented. Let us know what's in your glass and what your plans are for this evening. Well, Rick wasn't here last week, so obviously he is saying YouTube stream is in the wrong aspect. Looks like a mobile view with half of Cat's face cut off.
Half cut. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Yeah. You see, if you sit in the middle of the screen, your face doesn't get half cut.
Yeah, I don't know which way to go though. I don't know. Yeah, Rick, we don't know StreamYard seems to have changed. So I think from what I got from Dave's comments, I think there's two different.
It's for your
streams
phone.
You can choose.
Yeah. So you click on the portrait, it means you can watch it on your phone, and it condenses it to fit there. Whereas if you're watching on your laptop or an iPad, you hold your phone that way, and then it goes normal viewing.
Yeah. And to be fair, you only really need to see half my face. The other half's not worth looking at, to be honest.
It's
So
pretty much
yeah.
the same, really.
Well, one hopes so.
You've seen one half, you've seen them all.
Exactly.
Dave's on the ginger beer tonight. He's on call. Who wants to type comments on their phone? Says Rick. Well, I don't know. Half cut cat. It's like a half cut onion.
Yeah, that's the start of the chat tonight. Half cut cat. Which is the better half? That's a good. I've got a squint eye on one side, so probably go for the other side then.
I was going to say Paul, but that's just me.
Well, yeah, we're not going to let him own that glory. Definitely not.
We have got Penguin 7575 saying, hello, are you from Scotland? Yes, we are, Penguin. Where are you coming in from? Where are you joining us from? Let us know. Tony Nelson is just commenting on Rick's comment there about the portrait landscape. And Alistair Gray, good evening to Alistair, all the way from sunny Turriff, saying hello tonight. And Penguin is in Germany. Guten Tag.
Guten Abend. I think it's Penguin, not Penguin, unless my...
Oh, Penguin. That does look Penguin. Yes, it's a Q, not a G.
Oh, well, they'll call me Guten Abend.
I thought it was a penguin in the picture.
It's hard to tell.
No, it's not. It's really not. Anyway, I am on. I found this actually, and remembered just how good it was. This is pretty much full after last week's Blether, and we're sipping away at it. This is an Oloroso Sherry quarter cask, finished Royal Brackla 7-year-old. I had this. We stocked Whisky Cellar a few years ago, and I got this in, and found it open but not cherished. So I gave it some love last week. Really nice. It's a big sherry cask, so not up your street at all, Kat.
No.
But I'll probably finish that tonight.
I'm trying to be open-minded with sherry. I'm going to give them all a go. Not all of them. I've only got one liver. Oh, wait, have I got 2 livers? How many livers do people have? 1. But yeah. I'm going to try not to be so anti-sherry this year. I'm just going to judge it on its own merit and not on the colour, because we keep talking about people with colour. So I am going to just try more, I think, and discover what I like and what I don't like. I don't like PX, but I'll try the rest of them.
Well, somebody who can help you find where you can drink all this wonderful whiskies. What a segue that turned out to be.
Beautifully done.
We are going to be bringing in Victoria Miller, founder of Sipseekers. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well. Thank you. How are you?
Very, very well.
Good. All the better for having you. Thank you so much for coming on our daft wee chat.
No worries. Yeah, I've just realised I've not got a sherry whiskey in my glass, but I've got an interesting one anyway. So
intriguing. Yeah. Are you going to share?
No, okay,
you're not getting to know. I'm not going to tell you.
I recently went to a Scotch Malt Whisky Society and actually got this Taiwanese whiskey. So it's called Top Banana, and it's quite an interesting one. So it's not that sherry kind of color that Mike's got in his glass, but it's very interesting. All the shame.
That's really cool. I went to the Whiskey Witches show for what's Edinburgh Fringe. That's what it's called. And they had a Taiwanese whiskey from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. It's probably not the same one, but the name sounds very, very familiar. But it's the first time I've ever had it.
Yeah, it might be. I think there's only a couple of distilleries. I tried this at the Edinburgh Whiskey Festival, and I thought about it ever since. And I was like, I need to kind of grab it. And then they still had a bottle for sale last week, so I picked it up when I was in.
Well, that's cool. It could very well be the same whiskey, but
that shouldn't really be promoting that right now.
I'm sure it's all good. It's all good. Nice to see something a bit different on the Blethers, because quite often we stick to Scotch whiskies. So yeah, cool to see a Taiwanese one.
So is that bourbon cask? Is it that's in there? Did you say? Sorry.
Yeah, it's not. It's certainly not. It doesn't actually say, but it's certainly not that sherry kind of color that's in your glass for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually even say the distillery, but there's only a few in Taiwan,
Yeah.
so
Is it?
need to find out a wee bit more.
Bloodline's a big one,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is
Is it
strong.
Yushan? I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I want to say that rings a bell from when the guy was telling me about it at the Edinburgh Whisky Festival, but yes. It's got on here second fill charred barrel. So yeah, quite light kind of flavor. But no, it's good. It's nice tasting. But I've got a lineup of Scotch whiskies as well.
Cool. So what's your kind of go-to? What would you normally pick up for a whiskey? Are you quite adventurous normally?
So normally I'm quite a peat girl. So my kind of induction to even neat spirits was apart from uni days when you were at a bar kind of ordering shots back in the day. But my my kind of induction was my father founded Eden Mill Distillery. So he took us all over to Islay. So we produced beer for 2 years in St Andrews, and then he took all the employees to Islay as like a exploration trip before we started actually distilling. And that was my induction to appreciating neat spirits, if you like. So that was the moment that I sat with I remember it was like 6 kind of glasses in front of me. I think it was Lefroy that they'd actually come to us. And that was my induction into sipping and nodding and appreciating flavor as opposed to so I think from that point of view, we went around a record number of distilleries that trip. We went to Bruichladdich. Jim McEwen showed us around Bruichladdich, and went to Ardbeg. There was amazing distillery visitor centres that we went to, but also that spirit and tasting so much kind of peated whiskey allowed for a real appreciation for it, for sure.
Yeah, I think when you're on Islay or you're in that kind of peat zone, you kind of get acclimatized to it, and then you start to really pick up what else is going on in the cask. You kind of your kind of mouth or your palate switches off to that peat, although it's there, but you really kind of, and when you come back and start trying some more kind of light Speysides or lowlands kind of whiskies, it takes you a minute to readjust, and you're like, I can't taste anything because you're just so used to this intense battering, and then try to readjust is quite fun.
Yeah. I'm not as much of a fan for like the blow your head off kind of peat. To be honest, my go-to at the moment is like a Lecheg style. So it's a much softer peat where you can still sense a lot of the flavors and influence of the cask and that kind of thing. So
that sweeter side of sweet peat. I had a really nice there's the guys at Colburn Distillery have released a trilogy, Local Heroes. It's a blended malts. Because of course you'll know Colburn from your Murray McDavid days. So Keith Cruikshank, who was at Ben Romick, is now heading up the Colburn Distillery project, and he's put out 3 blends. One of them is a sweet peat, and it's really nice. It's very Lecheggy, with that kind of fruits and kind of light smoked oak kind of flavors. It's really, really nice. Worth checking out. Where did Kat go? Did she go and get a dram? Is she got to the shop to buy one, do you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
I mean, tread water with your whiskey here, but we'll just crack on into the conversation. Guys, if you've got any questions tonight on the chat for Victoria, let's have them through, and we'll do our best to so that you can go away from tonight enlightened and knowing all about what Sipseekers is, which is your kind of brand new, almost hot off the press at the end of last year that you kind of officially launched, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about it? Oh, here she goes. She was doing her hair. That's what she was
No,
doing.
I'm sorry. My son came in late and he wanted his dinner, but I'm literally in the kitchen. So he's like busy microwaving stuff and like loading his plate up. So sorry, my kid's now fed.
Sorry, what was your question, Mike?
Can you tell us what Sipseekers entails? Yeah.
Sure, of course. So we launched in December last year, and essentially Sipseekers is a sky scanner for alcohol tourism based in Scotland. So the idea is we pull live availability and you can filter by location. We're adding different search options so you can filter by accessibility, partially or fully, depending on the distillery. Dog friendly, which there's actually loads of dog friendly distilleries, there's a few. A dog friendly area as well. But just to kind of allow for a kind of simple search, and then mainly the availability side of things and location, and then people can easily and quickly plan what distillery tours they want to book. And I think that this came up for me. I was up north just over 2 years ago. It was a romantic staycation in the Highlands, and I was sat there at breakfast and I thought, I quite fancy visiting a distillery. And that process that I then went through at breakfast, thinking, right, we've literally got this afternoon or the rest of the day to fit one in. How do I book it? Where are we going to go? It just felt so fragmented. And I was sat kind of near Balmoral. And I'm loading like, right, okay, do I want to visit this one or drive 10 more minutes and visit this one? And it didn't feel kind of straightforward. And even on one distillery, loading multiple tabs. So I ended up booking over the phone, and that's when I started to kind of think this should be a much more simple process. So I went about kind of looking into, could a sky scanner type website exist? Is it technically possible? Because my background is more alcohol. And I met with different tech people, and we ended up building something over kind of 18 months. And we just launched in December with over 55 distilleries now signed on, and every week more are coming on. So I think it shows that there is a real demand for this kind of solution, and hopefully it will be it will help distilleries welcome more visitors through their doors, which is the main thing, and Kat can obviously understand that. But the idea that we deliver high intent visitors to the distilleries is so important from an economical point of view. So that was where the idea came from. Unfortunately, the relationship didn't go much further, but at least I got a business idea out of it. But like I say, that idea of bringing high intent visitors, because at the moment the kind of average of somebody walking through a door on a tour is £48 per person on bottle spend. So, and that's obviously direct margin for the distilleries. So I think it's a really good thing, but it's really easy for people to then discover distilleries. And last week I was at Funky Booze and the kind of spirits festival, and this guy came up to me and he was like, I bookmarked your website, and I was so kind of happy to see that. And he was like, I genuinely just thought it was a really useful kind of search engine thing. And that meant a lot to see that already. So it's good, it's helping people.
Do you know, so when we spoke about this idea, when we chatted, I think, was it last year we spoke about it or something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And in the visitor centre, I see this all the time. So people have come to us, they booked a tour, and we're relatively easy to find because we're the closest one to Aberdeen Airport, right? But a lot of people aren't aware of the Speyside region. They don't know that exists. But they've had a fun time at a distillery and they want to find what's next. So, me and my team are like writing out wee lists because, okay, it's competition, but it's not really competition. Like, you don't mind helping recommend other people. But you're right, there's no tool.
To you first.
Exactly, they've got to see, the sort of lower standards after us. But there's like literally no tool out there to help people narrow that down, because you'd say to them, oh yeah, head to Speyside, there's loads, and then you've got to advise people, well, actually check, because it's Sunday or Monday, and some of them are not open Sunday or Monday, and then actually it's tour season, so that distillery only has 2 tours. You should definitely, so to have like some sort of search engine, I'm not very good at tech speak, but some sort of online presence that actually just filters all that out for somebody and just makes that trip easier. Like, part of me is like, why does that not exist already? But I don't know, I kind of feel like maybe, like, well, before Victoria's invention, of course, but it's crazy that whiskey tourism is so big in Scotland, but there was nothing like that beforehand. I mean, did you do like a lot of research before just to make sure like that there's nothing else like that out there? Are you literally the first and only of its kind?
Yeah, so obviously there's different kind of marketplaces for experiences. So for example, like Get Your Guide, where you might kind of go on and book an experience, but they didn't have a lot of whiskey distilleries. So if you go on there and you're in Speyside, for example, there might only be 1 or 2, because they didn't have a lot of them kind of opted in to what they offer. So it didn't feel like it was solving the problem, if that makes sense. And that's where the initial thought came from, the fact that I felt the industry was missing out on these visitors, but also the frustration as someone trying to book, and trying to do it quickly with limited signal as well. So it was just one of those things. But we built it, and I think the value, like you say, of showing someone around, having them leave as an ambassador, is so great, because they then go think to buy your product as a gift in the future and tell their friends in whatever corner of the world they've come from. And like I said, I obviously, my father founded Eden Mills, so I've got that experience of, we used to very much see that we'd take people through the tours, whatever level those tours were, and by the time they left, they felt quite passionately about the brand, and they really engaged with it. And it was so much so, to the point that my dad used to give tours away with every gift box at the farmers markets and things that we did, because he was like, there's such value in bringing someone to our distillery, letting them see it and feel it, and kind of feel part of the journey. So I do think that what we're doing is hopefully going to be great for also, the kind of tourist side, and the distillery side. The tourists, I was shocked to learn, only 2 in 10 overnight visitors visit a distillery at the moment in Scotland. And it feels like, now that there are more in cities and more accessible distilleries, it feels like that number should be much higher. So that's my aim, is to make it 3 in 10.
That is surprising, actually, that it's so low, because it tends to be, but I guess because we're in the industry, we speak to more people who are looking for that specifically, I guess. So, yeah, but when you speak to people, it tends to be a castle, a distillery, and maybe a round of golf. And that's kind of what people are, that's a bucket list, that's a checklist for Scotland, isn't it? Edinburgh Castle, probably.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know. I think so. This January in particular, we've noticed an increased footfall with us. Apparently, Aberdeen has seen higher bookings at hotels, but we're not seeing why. Like, you just can't predict tourism. You can't predict why suddenly people decide to end up going to an area. But with your website, does that sort of collect information for distilleries in the back end to kind of analyze and see, how much traffic's coming through your website, for example?
Exactly. Yeah. So we're hoping that from year 2, we can be a good information source, obviously, for the industry side as well, which will be helpful in informing decisions, both marketing wise, and generally. So I think, yeah, for sure. At the moment, obviously, we've just launched, but it's informing us, and we are actually in the process of adjusting our website in response to user behavior and all that kind of thing. So it's interesting. I was very surprised to see the global reach of the website from when we launched. So people are obviously planning their Scotland trip in advance, and kind of logging on from all over, which is great.
That's amazing. I mean, it feels like it's such an achievement, and I mean, it's probably been a lot of hard work on your end, but to get it, it must be so cool to see it up and running, because I don't even know how a person begins creating a website. And obviously you've got people on board helping you out with that, but to then just see that and see like the functionality of it. I was playing with it earlier, and I love your little filters for dog friendly or accessibility, because these are all things that we get asked all the time, and and rightly so. But to be able to just filter that down and kind of choose the right place for like your holiday experiences, it's very cool. You must be very proud of yourself, or hopefully you're very proud of yourself.
Thank you. Yeah. The other thing we're going to introduce is child-friendly distillery tours. Is Glengarry child-friendly? Or
we do allow children on, so under 18s don't pay, but we're not accessible for like buggies and pushchairs and stuff, because you've been around Glengarry, so you've seen how small. I don't think there's one even floor surface in the place, so you can take kids with you, but you just have to carry them around and don't let them touch anything hot. But I do know that a lot of distilleries don't like to take children. I do understand that as well, just because it is quite a dangerous environment, and it's quite a boring environment as well if you're a little kid. Like you just get taught about distillation and chemistry and stuff. But yeah.
So we get them hooked.
Say again?
That's how we get them hooked.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
on alcohol, not on drink, but on the experience, on the science.
No, we're not endorsing that. And to bring your kids and start them young, definitely not.
Get them hooked on alcohol. That's absolutely not what we're saying.
No.
Well, the idea is that from our side, we're thinking that people who are traveling with their kids maybe don't see it as something that they can do, and if they can check which ones they can visit, same way as drivers packs, we want to raise awareness of that, because people assume like, oh, I'm not going to get my money's worth because I can't actually enjoy the drams or whatever. So just kind of highlighting that and raising awareness that you can walk away with a couple of miniatures, and I think is a really good thing, because it can inform people's decision making. And if there is a family that assumes that because they've got their kids they can't see the kind of full experience, then hopefully that can help bring more visitors, like we say.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of those things are 100% like things I deal with on a daily basis in terms of customer inquiries. Can I come with my kids? I'm a driver, what does that mean? Do I have to pay for my driver? Like, is it a special price if I'm a driver? Like literally the questions I get constantly. So anything that filters that down and drives people towards us is fantastic. Bring your kids, bring your granny, bring your do it all.
That'll be the next one, granny friendly. Yeah.
It's a granny friendly. We get quite a few grannies. But it's not just distilleries, obviously. You do sort of drinks industry. So we're talking about sort of, I don't know, well, what does that include? What does that encompass in terms of other sort of drink tourism?
Yeah, so we cover all of alcohol tourism. In Scotland at the moment, our plan is really to get Scotland right, and probably second half of this year roll it out across England. There's vineyard tours and things in England as well. 1.5 million last year, actually, which is a surprisingly large number of vineyard tours. So
wow.
There, and then there's obviously English distilleries and things. So but at the moment we're all alcohol in Scotland, and like I say, we've got 55 distilleries or alcohol producers signed up. We've got some breweries. We've got Edinburgh Gin, for example. They're a gorgeous new place right next to Waverley, which rumor has it like hundreds of years ago there was elephants living in those kind of caves, so that's a nice fact for you. But it's a gorgeous distillery that they've got set up there, and so it's just raising awareness of these experiences, especially to new audiences, is what we're focusing on. So like we were saying earlier, Kat, with user generated content, that's going to be a big part of what we're doing through my Instagram, but also through my network of kind of lifestyle foodie influencers and different things, raising awareness of these experiences and hopefully inspiring people to engage with this side of the industry and pop to their local distilleries, because I think we're all guilty of maybe not doing what's on our doorstep as well. So that's a good kind of market to go after, but also as like a marketing thing, they can then tell their friends and like we say, become ambassadors that are on our doorstep and bringing more people, as well as that international audience.
Yeah, well, for anyone who hasn't followed you on your socials, Scottish Whisky Girl, get on it, because you do have some awesome content, and you have visited a lot of distilleries.
Yeah.
But it's so beautifully put together. You must spend a lot of time doing that, because we were just speaking about this off air. Just, I mean, I like doing it, right? I love social media. Well, no, I don't. I love Instagram. I love the visuality of it. And I love taking pictures, right? And I don't think everyone says, oh, it's easy to take photographs now with iPhones, but I think you have to have a good eye for taking good pictures. So I don't think everyone's always that good at taking pictures. It's then putting that all together and then getting that loaded up on Instagram is where I fall short. And anybody that follows the Blether socials will know that I'm definitely a very year behind with our socials. I will fix that. But yeah, I mean, you've got an awesome Instagram account, and I can see how that'd be useful. And it is such a small community in Scottish distilleries and hospitality. So to keep that connection going, I can see how that would be really useful for then getting people to follow on to the sort of Sipseekers thing as well. But is that something you enjoy, or is it something you see as just the way things need to be done now? You look like you enjoy it, potentially.
Well, thank you very much, Kat. I think I do really enjoy it. So I started that Instagram purely because I was traveling the world for whiskey. So back then I was ambassador for Murray McDavid, and I was going out to China, and I was going out to all these exotic places. And I just thought, it's nice to put that content somewhere. I wasn't really kind of being that strategic, and I was meeting lots of people out there, and it's just nice to kind of engage with them and build up that community. But then obviously when I started kind of getting into this idea, you think, or actually, to be honest, when you've got a certain following, you start getting invited to things and doing different stuff, and that presented opportunities. So but I've started doing videos with Shona, as you know, Shona Sips, and that's been quite fun. And that literally started because my dad gave me the Beyonce whiskey last year, and I messaged her last January and I said, shall we do a wee kind of video? And we hadn't really planned it, and she popped over, and I just thought, let's try it, let's like make a wee video, and it's kind of evolved from there. But I think what's quite nice about the content that we produce is that it's kind of bringing it into a new audience. It's kind of normalizing drinking whiskey, and it's kind of making people aware of fun facts as well, in a short space of time. So hopefully it inspires some people to come into the industry and learn a little bit more as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you came out to Glengarry as well. We feature.
Yes, we did. Sorry, should have given you a shout out. No, I think we did quite a good video. I was very proud of that one, to be honest. The Glengarry.
I love it. It's really, really good.
Kat's a natural now. She's on Japanese telly and everything. It's a big star. I'm surprised she's a bigger star in Japan than Sam Hewen is. So
I know. I'll get my agent to speak to yours, Victoria. We'll sort something out. Talking of Sam Hewen, though, he's backed Sipsmith too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I didn't just name drop some random person that just came into the head. There was a reason for it.
Nice little segue there. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, so he's obviously got Galloway Distillery, and an insane amount of following on social media and things. Very passionate following. So I tagged him in a few posts from the Outlander series, but I tagged him in a post over Christmas, and I think he shared it and the amount of like random comments, it didn't make sense to me because I've not watched the whole series, so I didn't necessarily know some of these insane comments. But yeah, it was the Outlander Scottish Day Out. I did a blog post kind of trying to showcase Scotland in that way, if you like. So it was like, if you want to kind of pop down and see the distillery, go here for lunch and that kind of thing. But they're on board. They're on Sipseekers, and he's definitely got a good following. So I should probably use his pictures more. They've sent me some very nice ones. So.
I mean, why would you want pictures if they're passionate about them? Is it bottles of pictures of the bottles and things like that? It's not of Sam.
It's both. Yeah. So there's ones of kind of in and around Scottish ruggedness and holding the bottle and things. So I think they'd probably go down quite well.
Yeah, it's still massive Outlander tourism. I was speaking to somebody about it the other day. It's a lady that organises VIP Outlander tours. And just, it's like, it hasn't come off the rails yet. It's so massive. But I think it is still on TV. I watched some of it, but I kind of lost track. But is it still?
Yeah, they've just announced the last season, I think.
Yeah, I saw that the last season, so it should be interesting. I think obviously, like, the fandom will probably go on much longer than even But no, I was quite shocked about some of it.
He was very clever with the name, the Sassenach whiskey, wasn't he?
He was. One of the strangest things I've ever been asked to do, and I've been asked to do a lot of strange things, was to both personally and professionally.
Always watching, by the
way. Not me right off my start there. These 4 middle-aged American ladies came in, and they were just absolutely the sweetest. But they were on Outlander pilgrimage. So Aberdeenshire's got loads of standing stones, so they'd come up to see some of the stone circles, and they'd gone to Castle Fraser, not connected to the story or anything, but the connections with the Clan Fraser. So they'd popped into Glengarry because they wanted to see a Scotch whisky distillery. But they'd go everywhere with this little wee cardboard cutout of Jamie Fraser, Sam Heughan. So at every stop point, I had to stand and hold Sam Heughan in front of like the still, in front of like the wash bags. And I was like, so their whole holiday snaps, or at least, one day of them is just me holding a little miniature Sam Heughan. But, there for it.
I need to see these.
I know they're out there somewhere.
I know. They were just really sweet. So like, oh my God, like your hair, it's so Scottish. I'm like, yeah, cool. Okay. Sorry, Rick, that's my really bad American accent. I'll stop. But
your hair is a bit Claire, isn't it? It's Claire's the main character, isn't she?
Yeah, it's giving Claire vibes. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's anything that brings tourism to Scotland. To be honest, is all the better because we're a wee country, but we've got so much crammed in this little wee place, don't we? From castles to standing stones to Outlander to whiskey to, and it's not just whiskey.
Absolutely. I saw. Oh, sorry, Kat.
No, I was just going to say, Jeremy was talking about like your type of filter, but for like food and cafes too, because that's the other thing Scotland's got. And the same American food.
Yeah, I picked that up with Jeremy. It's like, does a distillery have a food offering or a cafe offering? And probably even the bar offering, a lot of distilleries now do. You can go in, Glengarry do it now, and Glenalchie, Glendronach, most distilleries will have that option where you can go in and just buy some drams at the bar. Instead of doing it, she's taking a notebook out. She's now writing.
I literally am. The cafe thing's something that we've not thought of, but it's absolutely very relevant. You're right. I think,
there's a lot.
And we did a survey, and people did say that they were most interested in a distillery tour if it offered food, and I was like, okay, well, obviously, like not many do, but it's like if you can say, well, you can pop there after, or so that's interesting. Yeah,
there are a few. I think Glen Murray has a great little cafe in tea room. Glen Ord. I think Cardew. I know they have kind of a coffee shop and cocktail bar. I'm not sure if they do food there, but I mean, you might be able to tie it in because of your sherry tour, you do food pairings in the rare pair with the cheese and stuff.
Yeah, we do 2 different food-based tours. Actually, we do 3 different food-based tours because the Legend's a food-based tour as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's 2 different aspects there, whether you've got a cafe or, you know,
or the food led
yeah.
tour. Yeah. And this is what I was meaning around, like, when you do the search, if you're not using Sipseekers as a search, you won't necessarily see the chocolate pairing whiskey experience or the whatever. You might only be searching for like the basic level tour or the one up, or, you know, and not click on all the others to look into them. So that's where if you're searching by availability and location, you can then see, right, okay, Glengarry's still got all 5 different tours available, or whatever that is, and then they see them in all their glory, if you like, and can click through. So that's where this can work. But yeah, the cafe ones or food on site's good to think about. We did do a blog post recently on ones you can just pop into. So if people are just passing, and obviously many have got a shop, but if you want to actually pop in and have a wee drink and chill, and you've not got a tour booked, we did some kind of feature on that. But again, that's an interesting filter and point.
Yeah, well done, Jeremy. We've got that's a clever who watch us.
Yeah. Jeremy saying Mike pretends he's just a casual fan. I'm guessing that's Outlander. I did. But Tony was really into it, and I ended up watching it because I realised it was to do with the Jacobite Rebellion, and I'm quite into that. So I watched it to see how that panned out. Watched the second season and got a little bit bored, and I don't think I've watched anything after that. So I quite enjoyed the first one. I like that Culloden and the Jacobites and all that. And then it just got a bit mushy. It just got a bit.
I gave up with it with the American history side of things, not because I know I don't find that interesting. I just don't find it as interesting as the Scottish history side of things. So then, because I think that's when I kind of stopped the books, because obviously the writer, she's American, so I guess that's her kind of first interest potentially. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Anything that doesn't ham up Scottishness, because I don't think it really went into the whole tartan kind of romanticism of Scotland. I think it stayed quite true to some of the history, so I think that's quite good to see.
Which I quite liked about it as well. It was quite brutal and quite honest, I think, as well.
Yeah.
I was going to touch on something you mentioned there, Victoria, about the people might not necessarily see all the tours, or they might not look into that. Is there a way between the two of you in both your guises of knowing how clicked on each tour is? Do you think people go on a website, see a tour, and think the £15 one is what I'm going to do because due to the price? Or do people click and say, well, let's see what the 50, 60, £100 tour has to offer before I judge it? Or do they think £100, I'm not paying that for a tour, and just click on the lower ones? Do you think that plays on people's mind when they're looking at itineraries?
I think it depends on the people. So a lot of, you might have an insight in this too, Victoria, but like from my point of view, you get people that choose the most expensive one because they're choosing it because of the monetary value, not because they're really interested in the experience, and that's fine. But with the general public, I think, and this goes back to, again, what you're doing, Victoria, which will make it easier. I keep wanting to call you Vicky, sorry. But, and we're all so guilty of this, right? You know, you touched on it with your story. You're skimming, trying to sort an activity quickly. And sometimes, and we're guilty of this too, your tour descriptions will be long, right? So you'll get your tour name, you'll get the price, you get this great big long description, and sometimes you don't really get to what the tour is until the very bottom kind of line. And by then you're kind of like overwhelmed and maybe just like, right, whatever, I'll just do the cheapest one. So I don't think there's an actual answer to that, Mike, in terms of like an actual trend. I think the bulk of people who are visiting for the first time will potentially choose the cheapest one. And then people who have been to lots of distilleries then start to branch out and look for, okay, what's different, what's new, what's more. But again, potentially you'll see that in your stats as more distilleries start to sign on to the website, Victoria.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Kat. So obviously, as I said, we just launched 2 months ago. Our stats are not quite kind of like ongoing yet. But what we are aware of is that there is interest in a multiple of experiences. What I don't necessarily see is because they are literally searching and seeing the full lot. I'm not seeing like which ones they're more keen on. They can. There's a filter. You might have seen this, like a bar of like you can increase or lower your budget type thing. So that's quite good. And that can allow people to be within their kind of budget. I think the most expensive one's like 800 and something. Don't ask me what it is. I'd need to double check. That's the most
for
expensive
Ellen. Maybe throw it up for Ellen. Something Diageo anyway.
Yeah. But so no, it's an interesting thing to understand consumer behavior so that we can kind of market to them and put things in front of them that's right. And as we evolve, we will be able to do that. And that's what I'm really excited to be able to do. As we get to know customers more. And there's so much to do. I want to create like a Monroe bagging type thing around distillery tours, and I want to really create like a loyalty type thing, as well as other things that'll come this year. So.
Do you know what I miss? I miss people coming into the VC with their guidebooks, like their whiskey handbooks, to get their stamp. Yeah. Yes, we used to get that all the time from whiskey clubs and things. This is like pre-COVID. And most VCs, if you ask them, actually do have a stamp. And I kind of wish I'd done this from the start when I started visiting distilleries, to go in and get my stamp on. But that would be very cool if you could just get like a little loyalty through your website. I'd love that. I would just want to start bagging them all after that. That would be cool. Send out like a brownie sash, and every time they do a distillery, you have to send them a new badge. Bring back the brownie sash.
So true. Yeah.
No, that's awesome because it's all incentivized kind of marketing as well, not in a negative way, but in a sort of a fun sort of way as well.
Yeah.
And people do get the bug. Once they start visiting one, they want to kind of start seeing them all after that.
Yeah. Would that not be what your pin badges have kind of taken over? Because people buy, every distillery's got pin badges.
Yeah, it's for some of your whiskey geeks, I think, when you see them at the shows, and some of them are so like laden with badges, or kind of like trying to drag themselves through the show, clunking as they go. I love it. I don't think I would maybe bedeck myself in badges, but
that's a filter for you, Victoria. Do they offer a pin badge?
I'll think about that one.
Yeah, it's definitely. I notice you're not writing that one down in your book.
Yeah.
I suppose, early days, as you say, but I guess like the scope of growth of this is, there's a lot you can filter out with this, because there's so many aspects to the drinks and whiskey tourism industry. And then who knows, this could go global, because a lot of current countries have got distilleries, so you could potentially rolling this out to all sorts of places, packing your wee bag and heading off, marking out all the distilleries in America, or
well, exactly. I mean, the industry use it so across most of the distilleries. You've got two kind of booking systems, but there are more. But I'd say maybe 50 distilleries are across two booking systems, and they are also in bourbon, in vineyards, in Italy, for example. So this could be easily replicated if it's kind of serving a purpose. And like I say, there's a great economical benefit for the big guys and the small guys being raised awareness of, and hopefully get more visitors.
I guess there's the potential to franchise it so that you're not doing all that work. You get somebody.
I know, going around every single distillery.
I mean, that sounds great, but you've only got so many days in a year to do that kind of thing.
Well, exactly. There would definitely be an expansion model for sure.
Yeah, but I guess you're focused on getting Scotland right, and maybe venture into England, and because that's it. If you do too much too soon, you end up kind of neglecting bits of it, and
exactly. We want to get
you don't want to. Yeah. I had a question that's gone completely out of my head there. We'll come back to it.
See, you don't have your book with you tonight. First Blether in, you had your little book with you and your pen, And you said, I'm going to be taking notes and I'm going to be prepared. Everyone in the chat said, I give it a week. You don't have your book with you.
I didn't have it last week either. And the reason for this is it's completely inexcusable, but it's a reason. Is it's in the garage, and I'm not doing the Blethers in the garage just now because it's really cold out there.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's not a long walk to your garage, but okay.
It's a terrible excuse because if I was prepared, then it wouldn't be in the garage. It would have been out with me as I thought of questions to write down.
Yes. Callum's got a great idea. He says Sipseekers could have a digital stamp available at each distillery. Collect and record your visits digitally, like a sort of QR code type
QR
thing.
code on the desk that you scan it.
Yeah, to record the visit. Yeah, there's something there that we will be looking to kind of introduce. So yeah,
like Pokemons. Oh my gosh, it'd just be like collecting all your Pokemon.
Yeah,
we used to have a Pokemon at Glengarry, just outside the door. Not like a real one. I wasn't seeing things, but when people collect the Pokemon, like Pokemon Go.
The game, the Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have really clarified that. The game Pokemon Go. There was one outside the distillery because kids used to come and catch the Pokemon.
Surprised I would do that.
Yeah, but no, that's really cute.
I know you guys didn't get to choose or anything. But there was some apparently back when a big trend was happening. There was some in some pretty dangerous places that people were trying to get to and causing accidents and traffic jams and weird and wonderful things like that. Tori actually started the Inverurie Pokemon Go page. It's still going today. She's now out of, or she tells me she's now out of it and nothing to do with it, but it still going strong. She got excited at the tail end of last year because somebody put a message out saying, "Is there any Pokemon groups?" And people were tagging her page, and she's like, "That was me." It was like, which is quite cute.
When that was the thing, we lived on an island off the southwest coast of Scotland, so my kids found no Pokemons. I think there was one in Oban. So once we caught him, that was it. I was like, "Nah, we'll just delete that app, boys. It's not for us."
You just go and fight them, didn't you? Like you've got your Pokemon to fight each other and stuff.
I think so. Yeah, I think we'll get distilleries fighting each other on your app, Victoria.
I know. Well, that's it. We don't need any bad press here with it.
No, definitely not.
Fighting to bag distilleries. But yeah, the idea that people want to fill their time and whatever and can book it is great.
When I go onto your website and I see Glengarry and I go and book Glengarry, is that through your website or does that link take me to the Glengarry website to book? How does that process work?
Yes, so it's booking direct. So that's it's kind of set up, and that's why I kind of describe it as the Sky Scanner of alcohol tourism, because if you end up booking a flight, you're on the EasyJet website or the British Airways website, and it's the same. And I wanted to do that so that the distilleries can keep that relationship and kind of if somebody's running late or whatever, they know who to contact and all that. So it's working well so far. That was probably the longest side of the tech side that, to set up, because it wasn't something that, like we say, has ever been done before. Even when you look at Get Your Guide or the other kind of offerings in the market, they take the bookings and ping them to the distilleries, and they take the money and everything and ping it to the distilleries later. So that it was just a different kind of setup. So it did take a bit longer, but I think it should be a more beneficial model, and the fact that we've got so many distilleries signed up hopefully shows that already, that there's a desire there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's such a good looking website too. Carry on, Mike.
It looks great. You've got, is it 55 distilleries, you said?
Yeah.
What kind of scale are you looking at? Who's your biggest kind of, or who's been keenest? Has it been a mix? Small independent distilleries, new startups, or guys who are part of bigger conglomerates? Or we've
got a real mixture. So, I mean, in Edinburgh, we've got Holyrood Distillery. In Glasgow, we've got Clydeside Distillery. We've got Auchentoshan not far away. Glengoyne, Rosebank. In Edinburgh, we've obviously got Edinburgh Gin, like I mentioned before. And then, I mean, we've got Glenturret. further up your guys' way, obviously we've got Glengarry on board, and further up we've got Cairn, Ben Romick distillery. So we've got a real mixture, and there's so many unique stories. So all of these distilleries have invested in their visitor centers to showcase, their brands and their products. And yeah, I think there's some amazing experiences to be had. I went last week to which is now on Scottish Whisky Girl, the Borders Distillery, and we've got them signed up as well, and that was really interesting because they've not released their single malt yet, but their head of kind of spirit creation is she started on day one. She started right back at the beginning, and she wanted to buy a horse, so that's why she started, and she got a job, and that's typical Borders chat for but she now has 4 horses, and she's also in charge of their whiskey production at Borders Distillery. So she's doing well, and these kind of stories and fun things and getting shown around by these kind of people is so interesting. So yeah, there's a lot. We've also got Campbelltown, we've got Glen Scotia as well, and they've just opened Luss Distillery, or the Loch Lomond Group has opened Luss Distillery as well, which is absolutely stunning, really, really gorgeous. I would love to go back there on a nice day trip and wander around all the shops and things. So, but yeah, I saw this couple. Actually, it was a group of, I think they were Germans, when I pulled up to Luss, and I was like, "Are you looking for the distillery?" Because they looked a bit lost, and then they turned to me and they were like, "No, but in that field, is that a traditional Highland cow?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, it's a Highland cow, yeah."
Do you know,
if you want the distillery, it's just that way. But I thought they were looking a bit lost with it.
that should be a filter. The amount of times we get asked, where's the nearest Highland cow? And I'm not even joking. I was thinking about setting up a Facebook page, just trying to direct people to bloody Highland cows.
That's a Highland cow spotter. That would be definitely worth that.
Yeah. So all the blue badge guides who hop on and off coaches, for cruise ships or for travel trade or whatever, they've all got a cheat sheet of literally where Highland cows are in relation to where their tours are going. It's because everyone wants to see a Highland cow. It's hilarious. So all the guides at Glengarry all know, where to point people to the nearest Highland cows. The thing you take for granted in your own country.
We've got Highland cows literally half a mile from our house, which is quite cool.
That's cool.
You can't really stop and see them because they're on the main road. But yeah, they're nice and local.
They're nice.
They'd be closest, apart from the Melbourne House ones, they're probably the closest ones to you guys.
Yeah, there's a couple out at Old Rain as well, but yeah, Highland cows. There you go. So you were talking about what was it called? Funky booze.
Funky booze. Yeah.
I just had Funky Pigeon in my head there.
So is that the plan for this year? Try and get out to some more festivals and stuff to kind of promote Sipseekers and what you're up to?
Yeah, I think so. So my plan is very much a well-rounded approach on getting the name out there in the business, because obviously I've got our Instagrams, I've got good friends in the industry now, but I want to talk to people directly. So all the kind of whiskey shows that go on and bring people together, it makes sense to pop along and raise awareness of what we're doing. And I'm also doing the kind of user generated content, like I said, so visiting distilleries. The next one we've got planned is my dog gets to come with me to Lindores Abbey, which will be quite good fun as well. So So does the dog get to come on tour or just gets to come into the visitor centre? No, he gets to come on the full tour apparently. So we'll stay tuned for the full tour.
Oh, that's so cool. I know. So
I know.
we let dogs into the visitor centre, but we can't let them into the distillery because it's all what do you call it, like grid, like metal grid floors.
Well, I was
And it
thinking
kinda
the kind of where all the barley is and everything. Like my dog would just go absolutely mental, and that's not okay. Like, so obviously from Glengarry's side, I was like, I can understand why. But to be honest, where it's a production area, I'm not quite sure how you're allowed to the dogs in, but we're going to take Mr. Porter around, and he's having a haircut done the day before, so he looks all fresh for his Lindor's Abbey visit of the distillery.
That's so cute. You're gonna have to get him his own little Instagram page of distillery visits from Mr. Porter. I don't think I've met your dog. I've seen pictures of him. You didn't have him at the whiskey gathering, did you? Did you have him? Or
No,
was he
no. I had more important focuses. All of our nice drams to be thinking about.
Yeah, it was a good fun night. We keep saying it every time we get guests on that we're at the same thing. We're like, oh, that was so much fun. I hope we can pull it off again.
I wish I was sober.
Wait, is that a general statement or just like
just that night? It was great because I did really well, and then outside for a cigar and just the fresh air and everything just hit me. I had just recently had a baby and things, so that's completely.
You had the baby.
We had a baby. Yeah, sorry. Tony's behind me trying to hack into a bottle of Coke.
a bottle of what?
Coke. Alcohol doesn't do it for her. She needs the Coke. It's better.
Oh, well, all to them.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a few sleepless nights before that, and I think everything caught up. But we should do it again.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And I'll be better prepared.
Yeah, I mean, must have been a lot for Carrie Ann to sort of draw together and get everybody, aligned to be in one place at one time. She did well getting that all sorted, but hopefully, because like we all see each other through the year at different festivals, but and we feel like we see each other all more because we're seeing each other through social media or whatever, but we've probably all only really bumped into each other maybe once because we've been at the same festival at the same time or so it's nice to just get everyone together and just have like a sort of debrief of like, how's your year been? Like, what have you noticed? Like, what have you tried? What have you seen? Who have you met? I think it's kind of important as well because, like I say, it is a really small industry. So anything that's kind of like shared knowledge, shared advice, shared enjoyment of the industry as well, I think it's quite a cathartic thing to do. And
I guess a lot of times when you're at festivals and that, you're probably talking about the whiskies. It's like, what have you got? What's been selling well for you? What are people looking for? Rather than how are you? What have you been up to? It tends to be more industry focused when you're kind of working.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think we'll do it again in 6 months, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
You've got such a vast industry kind of background anyway. As you said, your father founded Eden Mill, and then how long were you with Murray McDavid? Because you are like fluent in Mandarin, right?
Yes, well remembered. Yeah. So no, I studied that at school and then kept it going after. And it's kind of gives my dad. So I wanted to be a lawyer straight out of uni, and I went to when I finished uni, I just moved to rural China. I just wanted to mix it up. Because I did school and uni in Edinburgh, and I was a bit kind of like want something a bit different. And I thought if I immerse myself in the language, I'll start to actually use it and what I'd learned. And then my dad pulled me into the business basically. And I often say it was kind of like, have you ever seen Legally Blonde, Mike? I don't know if you'll nod your head here, but there's a scene where she says to her parents she wants to go to law school, and they're like telling her no. And it did feel like that with my dad, because he was like saying, you know, come join the alcohol industry and have much more fun type thing. So instead of going into law, and I ended up doing that, and kind of enjoyed working with Eden Mill. But so I came back from China, and they pretty quickly sent me back out to be based in Hong Kong for the business and building up the export markets there. And then, yeah, I worked for them for kind of 10 years, part-time and then full-time. And then worked for Murray McDavid for 2 years, which was amazing. Because it was another... Oh,
Mike,
can you hear me?
yours off of mute. Yeah, Mike, I think Mike
Yeah.
thought you were still on mute.
Yeah, it was a privately owned business, Murray McDavid ACO Spirits, amazing kind of history, 25 years going as ACO Spirits. Murray McDavid's obviously got an incredible kind of impact on the industry as an independent bottler, and it just felt like such a natural fit for someone of my experience that's worked for kind of privately owned business. And I was sick at Eden Mill of telling people you could have one case of single malt, and this, I was in mainly international sales by the time I left, and everyone's like buying a pallet of gin, 2 pallets of gin, and it's like, right, here's your one case, six bottles of whiskey. And it was like at the whiskey boom kind of time, you know, a couple of years ago, well, 4 years ago now. And then, yeah, moved into Murray McDavid, and I was so excited to be like potentially talking in containers and everything else. And it was like a totally different world. So no, it was great. And it was something I've always been more passionate about is whiskey. So moving into that space. I do remember my first whiskey tasting though at whiskey event. Even it was in Germany, and I had over 35 bottles of different distilleries on the table, and I was like, wow, I'm in the deep end here in Germany where there's a lot of detail kind of needed, and there's a lot of whiskey. So luckily they sent me the list before, and I was kind of briefed. But Murray McDavid's well known for loads of different bottlings and things.
Yeah, so I mean, I always think this about independent bottlers, like from chatting to Paul and that as well. Like, I know, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 brands really well, but 2 more so. And then working with Mike at Whisky Shop, I was having to learn about more brands. You know, I couldn't just constantly sell Bulgaria, though I obviously did do that, a lot of that. But like brand ambassadors for independent bottlers, you're having to learn about so many different distilleries. And then on top of that, you know, because Murray McDavid, like Dean, he's like, he loves his kind of like crazy finishes and sort of kind of out there casks and things. So like different wines and stuff, because I think he's a bit of a wine fan too, isn't he? So like the amount of stuff that you're going to have to learn for these shows and these releases and these, it would have been interesting, but it would have been quite overwhelming at times as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I did definitely lean on Dean to, luckily he picks up his WhatsApps on the weekends and things when I was traveling the world for Murray McDavid. But I mean, the quality of casks that they used was great. So I often kind of lent into the emphasis of that, and that was consistent. They used a lot of amazing, weird and wonderful casks, but the suppliers, I got to know them quite well and was able to talk about them. And then I had 2 Charles MacLean Wikipedia books that I was traveling the world. So I had one that I would take around with me and one that would stay in my desk at the office, and that would keep me right if anything did kind of catch me off guard or whatever. But I think it certainly was. It was a good kind of baptism into throwing yourself into all the different distilleries after just working for Eden Mill, and obviously being aware of what's going on, but not directly having to kind of brief yourself on it, if you like.
Yeah, I did that with Ingvar's whiskey yearbook. I've got one on my desk and I've got one in my handbag. I'm like, at least I know I can sit in the car and prep before I go and do anything. But because, yeah, you can't know it all the time. You know, you can have sort of the odd fact you can fall back on, but sometimes your brain can't hold all that information, no matter how much of a geek you are.
Yeah.
So do you still get to use your Mandarin? Or see, when you were traveling, you know, did you ever just like stand up and start speaking in somebody's language and they'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah, so the weirdest experience I had was I was doing a tasting it was probably my biggest tasting in China. It was over 100 people. It was 2 Marches ago, so nearly 2 years ago. And it was in Chengdu in China. And by an hour before it, they told me it was inauthentic if I spoke the whole tasting in Mandarin. And they were like, actually, we want you to say it in English with a translator because they're just going to think we've hired someone like who lives in China and we want them to know that you've been flown in. So it was like, I've like, you know, invested my whole life trying to learn this language and you're now telling me can't use it. So it was bizarre, but I did the first intro in Mandarin because I'd prepared it all, and then I had to ironically make some notes because I'd prepared it in Mandarin and then made some notes in English, and I was like, right, okay, ready to do this bit in English. And I'm used to doing that because you have to kind of be comfortable with the pause because you've got the translator, you know, like it can stop your flow a bit, but it obviously you've got to kind of just pause, and then you have to get a good translator because otherwise they won't be necessarily communicating things in the right way. So that part's important, but no, it went down well, all things considered, and I think they got the gist of Murray McDavid. I think the owner of Murray McDavid's son was in the audience, Noah, and I think he was happy with the whole performance as well. So it went down well.
I guess you having the language behind you, at least you knew the translator was what they were getting across. You probably be able to understand what they're saying as well, and that would have helped you with the flow.
To be honest, I was more critical. I was like, oh, my language was much more descriptive than what they were saying. But yeah, exactly. It was good. It was good to know. And I remember kind of just saying like, yeah, exactly in Chinese and then leaning into my English again. But they do find it really engaging. They're obviously a very engaged audience for Scotch. And they're really interested to learn. So it was good. It didn't help that they were all hungry, though. They were desperate for their their food, that audience, I remember.
That's amazing. It's like
Jamie's asking if you went to see the pandas.
In Chengdu, we did. So this is what was quite good because normally I'm traveling on my own, so you don't. I'm guilty of putting on Netflix and hiding, re-energizing when you get a spare minute, but. Because I had Noah, Edward's son, I said to him, let's actually take a morning and go see the pandas and go do X, Y, and Z while we were traveling. So it's great because I got to go experience that as well. We went to the sanctuary. We got some nice content, so it was good.
Oh.
Great.
There, like, you see so many videos of pandas online of just falling over things and like falling off of things. They're so clumsy.
The best online panda video I've ever seen is when the baby one sneezes and the mum absolutely shit herself.
No, they're very cute.
Well, so we were actually speaking on this totally off topic, but we were recording the panda and it walked up the steps really slowly, and everyone's kind of watching it, and it starts scratching its bum on the step, like it was the most inappropriate like panda scene ever, and we were like, are we actually one? So yeah, it was quite funny. And of course, the other funny thing, I think that happened later that night, we were taken to karaoke by the importer, And that was quite an experience as well to be, they wanted to see somebody singing the songs that are like famous English songs, as if we were able to belt them out in the same way, and it just wasn't quite the same. The same tune that they were hoping for. I don't think.
What did you sing? What was these famous English
I mean,
tunes?
my go-to was probably more Taylor Swift. It was just more from the
that
words
classic
that
English
I would know.
artist.
Yeah, but no, it was good. It was really interesting. Then we had some Chinese men that wanted to serenade us, and they were like the rice wine producers and things, and that was interesting as well. So it was a really fun night, and something that I look back on fondly.
Sounds like it would be pretty epic.
Yeah.
We should all go for karaoke the next whiskey gathering.
My gosh, I've
I
never
thought you said
done
next time
karaoke.
we're all in China.
Yeah.
We've kind of had a trend of things different tonight on the glasses, so I've poured myself a Little Brown Dog brandy.
Oh wow!
That's right, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
1993 ELLB vintage French brandy, 31 years old. It's absolutely gorgeous. Goes really well with blue cheese. Just as an aside, but it's only 75 quid for this. It's absolutely superb. You're looking for something different. I know we're talking a little bit about wines earlier on. This is definitely something that you should get your hands on.
Brandy's not something I've played around with.
I mean, it's quite fun. Get something like this. I've tried brandy from the pub, your Three Barrels or Courvoisier or that kind of thing, but proper brandy. I think our biggest seller in the shop is one called Ashbach, which is a German brandy. There's that. It's nice, but comparing it to something like this, it's just there's no comparison.
Are you selling that one in the shop as well?
No, this is a Little Brown Dog website exclusive, so you can only get it from their website.
Interesting.
Jeremy, he's got a Glenallachie single cask in his glass.
Right. Cool. My internet's gone a bit. I'm going to disappear and get my boys off the internet because I'm like 5 minutes behind you all. So talk among yourselves.
Have you poured yourself another Victoria, or are you still?
I'm still on the top banana, but I do have. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I do have this Glen Turret, which they sent me for the recent whiskey festival that I went to. So, yeah, I'll probably go into that one after. 12 years old, but it's such a gorgeous bottle. Such a nice. So yeah, I'll probably go into that one after.
They've gone through a bit of a revamp, haven't they? It was about 2 years ago they redesigned all the bottles and came out with this lovely decanter, because they're now owned by Lalique, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to try and head up there in the next few weeks and do some user-generated content, as we say.
Yeah. As they've now sold the Grouse brand as well, so they don't have that. They were always the home of Grouse.
Okay, yeah. Well, obviously they have the amazing restaurant, the Lalique as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure we'll be treated to the full experience. Yes, yeah, Michelin star. That looks like the same color as your sherried whiskey before.
It does, doesn't it? This is the second one they've released. The first one was in the wee bottles, and then they released Linkwood from the cask. So I'd be excited to see what they've got sitting in this cask and see what comes out of that. Have you been up to see guys at Little Brown Dog before?
I've not. No, I'll need to pop up at some point.
They're right on our doorstep. So the next time you're up for a gathering or up to see Cat Glen Geary, and make a point of giving Andrew and Chris a shout.
Yeah, I will do. Absolutely.
Cat, you're back.
Yeah. Sorry, I realised that my internet was really laggy, so I went and chased children off of Netflix.
I honestly don't think it's just
But
yours.
it's
I think
a kind of peak time, I suppose, isn't it?
Everyone will be streaming the latest Outlander episodes because of our chat.
Yeah, I don't think my kids are, but yeah, maybe everybody else. I'm not sure that's just quite their vibe. But yeah, bloody internet. So everybody's talking about what drams are on. We've got a few people in with their drams tonight.
Sorry.
Nope, you were just waiting to say the same thing as me. You do it first. He actually just frozen. He has actually just frozen. I need to screenshot that because that's a hilarious freeze. He's literally got his tongue sticking out of his mouth. He's never going to live this down. Oh, buggeration. He's back. Mike, you froze in the most hilarious fashion. I was just waiting to take a photograph of you.
You're terrible.
No, we were saying the same thing. Dominic was on the Tomatin Powell. And then Mr. McKendrick is on the Scott Moss Whisky Society Glasgow Distillery 9-year-old, another type of Glasgow kiss. And I do actually have that one as well. So there you go. It's a good one. Dominic's got a question. I was curious as to whether Victoria had ported Sipseekers to a phone app.
Not yet, but that is part of the plan. So when we introduce the kind of loyalty scheme or the stamp kind of thing, the app will make the most sense for that. So probably second half of this year. So yeah.
That's exciting. That's another big step, right?
I know. I think a lot of my friends keep calling it an app anyway, but it's more just search engine website. I think we just want to kind of build up trust with customers because on the face of it, they maybe are putting their bank details in our website, even though, as we said with Mike earlier, they're booking direct. They're click. They're now on Glengarry's website or whoever's, but they might not be aware of that. So we're just mainly building up trust and then want to launch the app once people are kind of more aware of us. But like I said earlier, at the event, hearing that people have already bookmarked it and interested in it, that's the first step. And then, yeah, when we launch the app, hopefully we'll get lots of people downloading it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the more distilleries that kind of add on to, the book, so to speak, of Sipseekers, like the more relevance having that app is going to have to people as well. That's fantastic. Well, you shall have to let us know when the app is released because we all download it.
It's quite Victoria. What are you doing in terms of publicity? Are you going to festivals? Are you going to distilleries or events and things like that to get people? Obviously, there was a great coverage when you launched, and you did a lot of press releases and things. But if the people at home aren't in those kind of circles where these press releases came out, how can people find out about you? How do they search you, or what's the kind of marketing plan to get more visual?
Yeah, it's a good question, Mike. So we have a kind of well-rounded strategy, both in person and online, digital. I think digital is easier to convert because you're on your phone, you're ready to kind of click, book type thing. So we are, like I said about the user-generated content, that's it's all building trust and raising awareness of the fun experiences to be had. And my Instagram, obviously people that have followed me can see that I'm involved with what we're doing with Sipseekers, and that I've just launched it. But we're also, as I say, going to events. We're doing leaflet campaign, the kind of tourist leaflet type thing. We're doing a concierge kind of campaign as well to get them aware that if obviously every hotel has got their local distillery that they're maybe affiliated with or are aware of, they've probably been shown round it if it's like a kind of well-established hotel and concierge. But what we want to do is if they're trying to search for availability and things, there will be a login for them to kind of check things on their side and bring visitors that way, like an affiliate portal type thing. And then, like I say, with all the user generated content, the influencers, I hate using that word, but like content creators, there's a lot of people, brilliant people that I've met through doing that side of things who are keen to support what we're doing and do distillery visits on Sipseekers' behalf, and that then opens it up to their audience. So if they've got 20,000-30,000 followers, 50,000 followers, that brings those followers in to Sipseekers and also the distillery, kind of being aware of what these people are doing and the stories that are being told. So the idea of like, come with me for a day to, I keep saying Glengarry because Kat's here, but come with me for a day to Glengarry, and that kind of content is doing so well, both on just organic, but also like the advert side. So companies that put money behind that as an advert, that whole like, come with me to visit this, is like a very kind of relatable thing. And it's like, okay, they had a good time, I'll have a good time, click, done, like kind of thing. So I think just raising awareness to a new audience is really what we want to do, and kind of bringing people in to whiskey and general alcohol tourism. So
yeah. What I really enjoy about your content is it actually does make visiting a distillery look like it's fun, because it can be quite intimidating if you don't know what you're booking into. Is it just like a factory tour, like, and to a lot of people, whiskey is still the unknown. I don't know about whiskey, I don't know if I like whiskey, what if they ask me my opinion about what it tastes like? But you just make it look fun. It's just like, just there having a nice time, got a dram in your hand, a few giggles, like it just makes it a little bit more approachable, because a lot of your whiskey marketing is beautiful, but it's still marketing. It's still kind of like an angled bottle in a rugged sort of landscape, or models sitting having a great time with a dram. But sometimes you just need to see real people actually just having a bit of crack at a distillery and just enjoying themselves, and it kind of makes it a little bit more approachable, a little bit more user friendly, and to see more women just in the marketing side of things as well, and just like non-model women, just normal girls, like having a nice time, just having a few drams and being really rude and saying a lot of innuendos around about a cask, for example. Not mentioning any distilleries in particular, but
you're saying that we're not models, Kat.
Well, you are obviously gorgeous, but not
you were there as well.
paid model.
No, I totally agree with you. I think it's important to normalize this whole whiskey drinking culture, but also visiting distilleries culture, and kind of create this situation. So I was speaking to Shona about this the other day, and she was saying about how when you go to like France or whatever, they would maybe recommend the local vineyard and all that kind of thing. And it's like, it's so important that we get this culture of like people working in hospitality that are passionate about the local distillery, and as long as we can keep kind of championing that and normalizing that is so important. And I think that we've got a really passionate kind of audience, but I do think that we can improve for sure. I think there's more people that we can bring into drinking whiskey, maybe educate on how to drink whiskey. A good example would be my dad had me and a couple of friends to an event a few years ago, and everybody got a free Negroni. And I remember thinking, every single one of my 3 girlfriends are going to return that drink. They're not going to enjoy it. You know, it's too strong. It's not their palate. And they were all like, yeah, we're gonna have the Negroni. And I'd said, let's see if we can swap it for something like, but no, they insisted. And sure enough, all of them were like, no, don't like that. You know, what the hell is that? It's way too strong. Like, so it's just educating and kind of guiding on the journey of like, how do we kind of bring people into this industry in the right way? Because all 3 of those drinks were returned when I could have called it. So it's an interesting one of how we bring those people in, and I'm glad I've got good girlfriends that I can enjoy this industry with now, and normalizing that as well is important.
It is very hard to kind of to broach that in a way that doesn't seem to be pandering or what's the other word? Not pandering.
Do you mean like a sort of like a positive discrimination type thing of trying to force the issue?
Yeah. It's like because you could say, well, you're a woman who drinks whiskey, you'll really love this sweet kind of
absolutely,
flowery rose cocktail, and then some so you can see the challenges in that. It's like, how do you, because Big Cat worked for us at the shop, we talked quite a few times about doing a whiskey tasting for women, and it's like, but how do you market that? What do you choose? And because women drink the same whiskey as guys, and it's so hard to kind of to market it in a way that doesn't seem you're kind of fudging it a little bit, and then like true whiskey loving females will be like, well, that's not what I drink, so why would I go to that? But it's more about creating that environment that people feel safe to go to enjoy a whiskey tasting. And that's something we kind of talked about a lot in our Women in Whiskey event a couple of years ago, was how does that come across? Does it come across as patronizing? That's the word.
I think it's how you market it.
It's so tough.
I have a huge amount of experience in this from a gin side, which is really interesting because you've obviously got slightly more women who are open to trying gins, buying gins. But I used to do like Stockbridge Farmers Market, well, all up and down the country for Eden Mill. And the amount of women that would look me in the eye and say, I like the pink gins. And it's like, they're not a flavor, like that's not, do you know what I mean? But like obviously this is me being geeky and annoying and whatever in their eyes, so I'm not going to say that to them. But it's like, you know that they just want like the slightly sweeter things, the slightly kind of more girly kind of things. But like that's it was a tough thing to kind of bring them in, because, and also actually even educating them on when they wanted a sample at the market and it was neat, it was like mind blowing to them, because like they wouldn't obviously normally drink it neat and whatever. But that was a really interesting thing when people would genuinely say, I like the pink gin, and you're just like, well, that's not the flavor.
That's
that's not a specific taste.
We had similar when we launched the Fog House. It was we go to festivals and people will be sitting next to us drinking Edinburgh gin liqueurs, just for example, they come to us and say, "Can we sample yours?" But it's a neat gin, just to warn you. Yeah, and then, oh my god, it's far too ginny. And you're like, that's kind of the idea. But exactly the same. It's like, but I guess kind of gin went through this really big rebrand in that we host a gin tasting now. It's almost 50-50 with a demographic of 18 to 80.
It's great. And I mean that the sweet flavors have definitely brought people into that category, you know, like that kind of the fruity flavors, the whatever, like it brings people in, which is not a bad thing. So absolutely, I think it's good.
I mean, you look at probably 30 years ago or 20 years ago, gin was that kind of very much a female, probably a middle-aged female kind of drink. And you wouldn't get a lot of guys going to a bar asking for a gin and tonic. That's completely changed. It's completely revamped the whole industry. So maybe whiskey can learn from what gin done from a marketing, from a flavor, from this kind of acceptance point of view, and say, look, what can we do that gin's done right to mixing it differently? It doesn't have to be tonic. So, there's maybe something there.
I think, creating situations where, because whiskey's quite a solitary drink or a couple of friends at the end of the night type thing, if it's on ice or whatever. So it's creating kind of social drinks, social situations where it's like a couple of drinks throughout the night and all that kind of thing. It can help for sure. So but yeah, maybe a pink whiskey is the
There we go. That's the answer.
Bram Moore had one of those. Do you remember Bram Moore did a Tullibardine that was absolutely pink? 7-year-olds in a Barolo wine cask, I think it was. And to look at it, it was like, I mean, it was like as pink as you'll get.
Wow.
But very, very rare. Dominic's been on the comments again, Victoria. He's asking what your favorite Chinese food is, and would you recommend a whiskey to go with it?
Oh, wow. I'm actually vegetarian. I'm sorry to say, Dominic, but I used to always go to my local lady to get chow mein, and it was insanely spicy. The level of spice in China is like really strong. So and I used to really enjoy it. I'd ask for it no meat, but I would have that with I think whiskey. I mean, my good go-to winter one at the moment is Lechig Port Cask Finish by Murray McDavid. So that's a good one, and it's lightly kind of grassy, peaty flavor. And then you've got the warm port cask. I think that would work quite well. But the food there is excellent in China. It's just the sanitary standards where I was maybe weren't as good. But if you just turned a blind eye, I mean, because I'm vegetarian, I didn't need to worry quite as much. But if you just turned a blind eye, you could enjoy some delicious dishes for like £3.50 and things for a full meal. So
I can imagine. Yeah, the street food is different culture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jennifer's commented, it's saying, is it Sichuan hot pot?
Yeah. Oh, that's different level.
But he's also said the groups of women colleagues, but also friends in the industry is great to see. Same chats, but it just makes it easier for a random woman to approach whiskey compared to only grumpy old men. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think what we had at Inverurie was really cool when Kat worked there, and my wife Tony was there, Janice was there, and Annette was there. I was the only guy for a long time. Russell as well was there for a bit. And it was, when you come in and you see a woman not only working but passionate about it, it made other women comfortable coming at the shop and asking about it. And it does help seeing, and I think that that goes across whether it's a brand ambassador, whether it's a visitor center host or somebody in the production side of it. It's great to. What I love when I was at Springbank was going in and doing the tour there, doing the school there. There was one of the production team was female, and she was like doing everything, shoveling all the malt and the barley and taking in the barley, emptying the steep and all that kind of stuff, just doing it as if it would, and it was so refreshing to see that. She was just grafting like everyone else, and she became everyone's favorite kind of person on the team because she stood out a little bit as that.
There's so many women in the industry as well, but I was at our Vicky Whisky Festival where I saw you, Victoria, as well. And I've been chatting to this group of 3 girls who were kind of just there as punters, and they signed up to a couple of the classes. They'd done the whiskey and cigars, and I think they'd done another one. So they come over and they were chatting because one of them worked for a whiskey shop, and the manager's favourite whiskey is Glengarry, so like she was really excited that we were there, and we got chatting about tattoos because she had really nice tattoos. And we're talking about how awesome it is, that we're definitely seeing change in the industry, but we're having a laugh about some of these comments that men still sometimes say of like, oh, fancy that, a woman drinking whiskey, do you even like this stuff? And just then this guy comes over and he's like, look at that, a group of women all here, all just drinking whiskey. Do you guys like this stuff? We're like, oh, perfect timing. Thank you very much. But like, he meant it in like he actually did mean it in a really positive. I think he thought it was a positive comment of like, well done, you girls. But it's the fact he still thought that as unusual. When if you just looked around about him, he would just, this group of 4 or 5 women, he would have seen you and your friend that were there. There was a lot of women in that room, but to him, this was still unusual. So I think, I don't know where that changes, or if it is gradually changing, or where it's come from, but it's still present, but maybe not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, we had that chat when we did the open kind of talk, wasn't it? Is it a little bit like, the more you talk about it, the more you make it a thing, and people are aware of that thing? Is it that we should stop talking about it and hope it goes away? And it's such a hard topic to broach because you talk about it, you want people to be aware. I don't think it's an industry problem. I think it's a consumer problem, personally. I think from the outside looking at it, I don't think I've ever seen a problem within the industry but then I'm probably on the other side of that. You guys might have seen challenges that I've never seen. Being doors closed on whoever. It's really hard to kind of see that from my point of view, only from talking to guys like you, in which we do quite a lot, is from that whiskey and women talks, from working with Kat and Tony and yourself, Victoria, is that I don't see that kind of doors being closed, or that avenues being funneled into certain roles that you should be doing kind of ideas. How do we get around that, and how do we say, well, it shouldn't be a thing? That guy came over thinking he was doing good, saying this is great. Would you rather he just walked past and didn't make in his view, a positive comment? And you're like, oh no, it's really hard to balance.
Yeah,
point it out.
Yeah,
just
sorry,
I was just going to say, it's just how you handle that. So you could use that as like how very dare you sort of thing. But I just said, yeah, look around, there's loads of us here. And then that just became like a sort of positive learning experience for him. So I think it is how you, because you maybe get this as well, Victoria, like nearly every woman you meet in the industry will have had multiple comments like this, whether it's in the industry, whether it's out the industry. So as opposed to not talking about it, I think you have to keep talking about it and keep then just maybe turn the conversation around and saying, yeah, no, there's a lot of women that work in the industry. There's a lot of women that like whiskey, and maybe it's just fixing the incorrect narrative. I don't know. What's your opinion, Victoria? Sorry, I talked over you.
No, don't worry. Do we not have more taste buds than men, or is that just a made up fact?
Yeah, no, I think there is something to it. Are we not meant to be more
I thought that was
receptive
There is,
to?
yeah.
100%.
But
Yeah.
no, I
You're more
think it's
attuned
a-
to them anyway. I'm not sure if it's more, but you're more attuned to them.
okay. Yeah, I think it's a generational thing when that is concerned. What the comment that you just said you received, Kat, and I think, you know, obviously there is a lot of men interested. Like at the Scottish National Whisky Festival a couple of weeks ago, it was very men heavy. It was a great audience at that event. I loved like chatting to everyone, but there was a girl there. She's about my age, walking around on her own. And she's just interested in the industry, bought herself a ticket and isn't even working in the industry. And I just thought that's so nice, and also like nice that she's taken it upon herself to do that for her kind of day out, you know, her afternoon out on her own. She's going around chatting to people because, you know, she's trying to get into it and learn about it and whatever. So I think it is good. I think there is still a way to go, probably on both fronts, but I do think it's a generational thing, and as we evolve, people will it will become more normalized that women are kind of more leading roles in this industry. And obviously Borders Distillery is about to launch their single malt with a leading woman behind it, and all these kind of things will continue to kind of help pave the way for women in the industry.
Yeah,
I think that
agree,
helps.
definitely.
Certainly seeing people like Stephanie McLeod and Rachel Barry and Kelsey McKetchney, and you know, people like yourselves as well, you know, talking, but not just talking about whiskey, being the face of a brand, and you know, that attracts people to the whiskey and stuff, and it'll bring women into the whiskey as well as drinkers. I think having that, so it's not, because for a long time the women were probably making the whiskey, doing all the work, but it was a man on the advert, and that was kind of a stifling effect for you guys. Whereas we've broken that barrier down. I think it, marketing, certainly on social media, we see a lot more women talking about whiskey and being the face of the brand rather than a footnote or a side note, which can only be good, I hope.
Yeah, any sort of positive progress is a step in the right direction anyway. So no, it's all good. I mean, I think most of the people that tune in are guys, but a lot of people I see at festivals and tastings are a mixture of men and women. So there's definitely women whiskey drinkers out there. So we just need more. Let's get more of them. Let's get them all downloading the Sipseeker. Oh, that's quite hard to say with a lisp. Sipseeker. You need to change the name, Victoria. I'm going to struggle with that. You're very on. I know you're very on brand. Your colors is there. Your apps, like your website's all these like beautiful green colors, and you're very on brand tonight. Even though it's accidental, I think, because you're in your mum and dad's house, but you are still very on brand.
Yeah, no, I'm living it. My nails are blue as well, so I'm very leaning into that girly culture now. I'm very on brand.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good. Well, we're super excited to see where you go with this. Like, I think it's got just legs to run with. I think it's going to be awesome. You can see how much hard work you've put into it, and you obviously have such a good industry knowledge base anyway. So it's very much in good hands. So we're super excited to see what happens with this and where it goes. And yeah, all these little visitors that come to Glengarry saying, "Oh, we found you through Sipseekers." Hard to say with the lisp, but yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You just created a new tagline for it underneath the website.
Yeah, Sipseekers, hard to say with the lisp. Yeah. The more drinks you get, the easier it gets. But you'll have to promise to come back and tell us all about it. Maybe just go on. Is he frozen again? No, there he is. What were we saying?
Just saying, I think I'm on a bit of a catch up.
Oh, Yeah, I think
I didn't mean to talk over you. I was in a bit of a catch up, I think.
Oh. But yeah, you must promise to come back and see us this time next year and tell us how it's going and
Absolutely.
what the next stages are. And I'm sure we're going to see you on the whiskey circuit anyway when the festivals all start up. And if you are not following Scottish Whiskey Girl already, get on that. And Sipseekers has its own Instagram. And have you got like Facebook for all this as well?
Yeah, Facebook, TikTok, all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, get on all the socials, give Victoria a follow. And yeah, we'll definitely be downloading the app when that goes live too. So yeah, we're excited for you. Have you caught up yet, Mike? Are you still on a 5-minute delay? Yeah, no, he's still on a delay.
I think I've caught up. I was just going to sit back watching, not saying anything in case I spoke over people.
Well, we're probably going to round it up for tonight anyway. Thank you very much for everyone that watched. Thank you, Victoria, for joining us. And Mike, next week's guest you were in charge of because it's somebody you've got coming in for the Blether Whisky Club at Foghouse, right?
Whisky Club. Yes, we've got Ali Stevenson from Turntable Whisky coming in. So we've got to taste our first Blether Friday.
Okay, he's just gone. No, he's back.
Night in Glenallachie. He's been doing lots of good stuff, winning awards all over the world as well for blended whiskey. So yeah, looking forward to that. Should be a great night.
Awesome. Well, for everybody at home, we will see you all next week. I need Mike to end the chat, so I'm going to say goodbye to you all and wait till Mike catches up and he's going to end the chat in about 2 minutes. Thanks again, Victoria, for joining us. We'll let you get off for the rest of your evening. And yeah, we'll catch up with you sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Victoria. Good night. Take care. Slanjava.